pretty quick, I think. The first is from Amanda Hall. Dear County Board members, while a new year traditionally brings us with a new renewed sense of hope, right now we're facing an unprecedented time of us versus them throughout our nation. It's imperative as community members that we work towards changing that narrative so that we are a county that looks out for its citizens, all of its citizens. There is enough terror and hate throughout our nation that we must do what we can as individuals to accept and understand all members of this county. Immigrants in our community should not be forced to endure the terror of ICE any longer. No amount of money we are enjoying will ever make taking part in this contract morally acceptable, nor acceptable to our immigrant neighbors and our community members. Board members, when the time comes, I ask you to vote to end ICE contract in McHenry County. It has taken far too long. Thank you for your time, Amanda Hall, Woodstock.
Our next public comment is from Jill Pixley of Woodstock. Dear County Board members, thank you for taking my comment. As a social worker, I have seen firsthand the fear that families experience when it comes to the ICE program. Please consider the impact on our children in this county. Imagine these children who end up in the foster system and the confusion and trauma that they experience with the sudden loss of their parents. If not the humanity of this, consider the fact that these kids are now very much dependent on our government for financial, medical, and mental health support. They are also much more likely to enter the criminal justice system. Please make the call to end the ICE contract in McHenry County. Joe Pixley.
The next comment is from Joseph Hall. Thank you for your service to our community. As a fellow community member since 1993, I'd like to voice my support for the elimination of the ICE contract. Thank you for your time, Joe Hall, Woodstock.
Our next comment is from Megan Skolnick of McHenry, Illinois. Dear McHenry County Board members, I'm writing to urge you to cancel the ICE contract. I appreciate the dilemma you are facing in having to recoup the money that the county profits from the detention of undocumented immigrants. However, the time has come to make the ethically responsible decision. Thank you, Megan Skolnick.
Okay, now we're going to change the topic for a moment. This comment is from Mental Health Board Chairman Connie Machini. Good morning. My name is Connie Machini. I'm the president of the Mental Health Board. I want to take a moment to congratulate the new board chair, Mr. Bueller, and all new board members and those that have been reelected. As president of the Mental Health Board, I look forward to an excellent working relationship with all of you. As you are aware, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a significant impact on all areas of our community, and the Mental Health Board continues to support services that help keep us healthy and safe. In fiscal 21, the Mental Health Board is funding over 34 agencies in the county and continues its stewardship of taxpayer dollars. If you would like to meet and discuss Mental Health Board activities or talk about community services, please don't hesitate to contact me directly or contact Executive Director Scott Block. Congratulations, and I look forward to serving alongside of you. Connie Machini.
Our next comment is from Sherry Liske. Dear Board, thank you for reading this comment. As the new year unfolds, I would like to continue the conversation regarding the McHenry County Board canceling the contract with ICE. The harm this is caused by ICE to the detainees, their families, and the community is devastating and unnecessary. In this season of reflection, let compassion guide your thoughts on this issue. Profit realized by this contract can be absorbed in the budget. People of profit, cancel the contract with ICE. Jerry Liske.
Okay, his next comment is longer. It's from, and I'm not sure I'm going to get through it all, so I'll read who it's from first. It's the Standing Up Woodstock. It's from the administration team of Standing Up Against Racism Woodstock: Eva Baker, Joe Pixley, Tracy Soto Garcia, Tomas Soto Garcia, Adriana Carvajal, Cindy Cesar, Amanda Hall, and Dean Myers. This letter is written to you on behalf of the leadership team of Standing Up Against Racism Woodstock. We have expressed to you, the members of the county board, our adamant position that the atrocities committed by ICE can no longer be ignored. There is a national cry for ICE to be held criminally accountable for their human rights violations, and we will not rest until not one of our community members and fellow human beings have to live in fear of ICE. The following is a list of op-ed an op-ed that was published in Time magazine, written by Shakira, a Grammy-nominated winning recording artist, activist, UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, and founder of Barefoot Foundation. No truer words have ever been written. I am the daughter of a New Yorker who was born to Lebanese immigrants amidst the Great Economic Depression of the 1930s. Immigrants who, thanks to their entree to the United States, were able to build a solid foundation for themselves and their family before finally settling in Colombia, where I was born and grew up. Colombia is one of the most beautiful and diverse countries in the world, but rife with inequality and a lack of social mobility. America, in contrast, seemed to be a place that was always held up as a paragon of equal opportunity and limitless aspirations, where anyone could succeed. How, then, could a nation built on the shoulders of immigrants, one that purports to hold family values in such high regard, have such unimaginably cruel immigration policies? What rationale could justify separating children from their families with no intention of ever reuniting them when the U.S. has prided itself on being a beacon of hope for those who come from places where not even the basic needs or safety are a guarantee? In the land of free, where 545 children now stuck in no man's land at risk of growing up without a mom and dad, 545 children who have to go to sleep without someone to reassure them that they weren't in danger at any given moment, 545 children who can't hug, laugh, or have any contact with the people they love most. It is estimated that 60 of these children were under the age of 5 when they were first separated from their parents. As a mother, I think about my youngest son, who is now 5. I think about how he cries for me when he skins his knee, and the pain I feel for him and comfort him. Who answers the cries of the children left without parents? I cannot imagine the pain I would feel not knowing where my son was and whether he was safe, or the fear that these children must endure, and the emotional scarring that was inflicted upon them. Policies like family separation were born out of cruelty. When I read about the allegations of women undergoing forced hysterectomies, asylum seekers reportedly signing their own deportation orders under the threat of harm, and parents having their children ripped from their arms, it shows how policies like these can strip people of even the most basic sense of humanity. This policy is not about protecting people or making communities safer. The unspeakable tragedy taking place in America's southern border is about hate and the denial of basic human rights.
Pete, that's 3 minutes.
Thank you, Scott. We'll email out the rest of that letter later.
Our final comment is from Tiffany Eberly Kreiner, Root and Sky Farm in Marengo. Dear McHenry County Board members, Christmas was quiet and lonely this year for many of us. We put up as many Christmas lights as we could, of course, but the things were pretty dark. It's hard to keep up hope these days, even with the vaccine coming. So on the 23rd of December, it felt both an acknowledgement of the darkness and a desire for hope to visit the McHenry County Jail's Immigration and Customs Enforcement detainees. I bundled up the kids, 12 and 14, and we drove to the windy, dark parking lot with its hospital-like building, strips of window slits all around. Way across the parking lot from the building, we joined a group sharing battery candles, cups of cocoa, and a speaker for Christmas music. It was a candlelight vigil for the prisoners to share our concerns for their situation of exile and refugee in Naples. We knew things were hard for them. Separation from family, risk of disease, lack of resources, in and out of jail. We didn't know if prisoners could see us, but we waved our candles trying to hope. And then someone squinting saw what looked like an arm waving, and then a light in one of the windows flicked on and off. The group dancing to keep from the cold moved closer to see, halfway across the parking lot, then closer. And more arms waved, and more room lights turned on and off. And then we were crying out, waving our tiny candles, Feliz Navidad. We weren't forgetting you. We were with you. It was exceedingly moving on both sides, I'd imagine. Being there allowed us to try to come alongside refugee detainees. Of course, after an hour, we headed home to our family, gifts, communities, in which to contribute. The immigrant and refugees were left there. I urge the county board to halt our counties being implicated in the suffering of ICE detainees. I urge you to end the detainment contract. I urge you instead to work to make sure that the gifts that immigrants and refugees bring are fully received in our community. This would help flourish our economies and through fuller participation. As a path to this, I suggest the McHenry County Board work toward the Welcoming Standard. The Welcoming Standard is a nationwide certification program for city and county governments and nonprofits that help link together local governments with nonprofits, educational communities, and more. It can be difficult, I imagine, for the county board to end a contract that involves income for the county. But there are, I think, more just ways to develop income sources. And the Welcoming Standard has the added benefit of bringing a little more peace on earth, something we could all use here in McHenry County. A beam in darkness, let it grow, from Tennyson. With gratitude for your work and service towards the public good, Tiffany Eberly Kreiner. You had a public comment.
That's all our comments, Mr. Chairman.